So let's make a start on macros. So here we see a simple macro, and all this macro does is execute a count on an open image. Now it opens measurement options, and this is a really good idea when we execute a macro. We want to make sure we're always executing the same count. We're always doing the same experiment. We're being consistent. But when transferring macros to a different computer, we need to ensure that the configuration files move with the macro, so the macro will continue to work seamlessly. So how do we achieve this? So here you can see my macro is in my project, which I've called Andrew's project. And I'm going to move this by using the package function. So here I'm looking at the project workbench where we work with macros. And if I go to the file menu in the workbench and look at the package options, you'll see I have 3 different packaging options. I can package my project as a project package, I can package it as a read-only package, or I can package it as an encrypted package. In this case, I'm going to package it as a project package. This works, by the way, both for moving macros to a new computer maybe at your home, and also for sharing macros or macro projects with colleagues and collaborators. When I choose the package option, I can then save my package to any location on my computer. You can see here that I have on my desktop a folder called Macros to Move, and I'm going to put my packaged project into that folder. And if I look at the content of that folder, after I've done that, I can see that my projects have been packaged as IPX files. And this package contains all the files that are needed by a macro. And this includes measurement options files, learning classifiers, data collector types, features manager files, and other types. On the new computer, I'm going to take my packaged projects and I'm going to copy them into the scripts folder, which you'll find in your documents folder. You'll find an image pro 10 folder, which contains a subfolder called scripts. And that's where we need to copy our packaged projects to. On the new computer, I can open the package from the project workbench. So if I select File Open from the project workbench and select my packaged project, it should open, and all of my macros from that project should run perfectly. So here I've executed my count nuclei macro, and it's counted my nuclei using my configuration file. So any files that are needed in the macro project are stored from the package, and everything just works. Now, it's worth noting that you can edit packaged projects, but if you want to repackage it, you have to add new configuration. You may have added new configuration files to a new macro. You must first unpack it. In order to do that, from the project workbench file option, we can choose Save, and there under Save we have the option to unpack project package. Once unpacked, you can then repackage it with your new configuration files. It's also worth noting that only files saved in the default locations are added to packages. So it's always wise to try and save your configuration file in the default location, which is in Documents. You'll find the Image Pro 10 Configuration Files folder. If you've saved configuration files in other locations, you can still restore the functionality when you've transferred a macro project. If I take a look at this macro, and I look at my Open Options command, if I right-click on that and select Properties, you can see that it's going to display where the macro is going to search for my configuration file. If I click on that option, you'll see there's a small ellipsis on the right-hand side. If I click on that, I can point Image Pro to the new location of my configuration file, and the functionality of my macro will be restored.